So I've been hearing a lot lately about comedians saying they're not going to play college campuses because students are too easily offended. And I think this is a great loss because offensive humor is, one of the great gifts I think that we've been given. And I remember one of the really formative experiences of my life was hearing this Sarah Silverman joke when she just started out, God knows how many years ago. It was a joke, I'm not gonna be able to do this very well. She said something like, I was raped by a doctor, which is such a bittersweet experience for a Jewish girl. And I thought, my gosh, at the time, I was so taken aback. She's making a rape joke. And not only that, she's adding the Jewish stereotypes about Jewish women and doctors to it. That's bold, I thought. And also she's like reclaiming this subject and saying, I can make jokes about whatever I want. And I just thought that was great and interesting and ballsy. And, I think that if college students are going to try to make themselves immune from experiences like that, that's a real loss. But I'll also say that, as a teacher, you often have students, and I teach on the creative side of the curriculum, I teach film, and so my students are writing scripts and shooting films, and they're oftentimes interested in taking on social stereotypes and playing around with them because they've seen that happening a lot on cable TV, on roasts, on Saturday Night Live, and you never exactly know where this is going to go. And the students need to be able to risk being offensive in order to do work that's meaningful, I think. One of the weird things about this moment is that it seems like the social proprieties are actually becoming heightened. There's more likelihood for people to take offense now than maybe there was in, say, the 1950s, which we think of as a more repressive era. So it is a question mark as somebody who's working in cultural area as to where the proprieties are. And jokes are a good way of mapping where the boundaries have shifted, where the social sensitivities are, and where the permissiveness is. I have students I've noticed in the last few years who seem to be making a lot of references to anal sex in their scripts. And that's a new thing. So it's like that boundary has shifted, whereas other boundaries, having to do particularly with race and gender, have become more touchy. So jokes are always, I think, pressing against, where those social boundaries are. They're kind of like a map. As someone who's a writer and who teaches students who are in the creative area, it's not like you want there to be central committees of censors deciding what is and isn't appropriate. And I'm not somebody who wants to give advice to students. I think that every generation has to figure out their own politics. But to the extent that students are setting themselves up as censors or would-be censors, I'm not sure that's a great direction.